We don't have $1 trillion debt because we haven't taxed enough. We have $1 trillion debt because we spend too much. Quote Ronald Reagan. Debt has been accumulated since the beginning days of American government. The need to borrow money to fight overseas wars, support allies, or even repair our own homeland has continuously made the national debt continue to rise. Debt is a hidden problem that affects everyday people, but the nation of the United States. Debt has affected America since her birth, and even affects her in our current society. I have read articles and looked at countless numbers and done my research upon the matter on the internet. First, I'll discuss the origins and history of debt in the United States. The leading cause to kick off American debt was the Revolutionary War. To help win the war, American leaders asked for help from the French, Dutch, and Spanish. This comes at a cost, however. Negotiations from Benjamin Franklin had loans from over $2 million from the French alone. The Spanish also would gain Florida in this process. After the war, the totals of debt was over $43 million. Shortly after the American Revolution, the national debt would reach more than $75 million and continue to grow over the next 4 decades until President Andrew Jackson lowered the debt to zero in 1835. However, a multitude of problems would come up and would start the string of debt up again. The Civil War created inflation, and unstable European governments would add on to the fire. However, not every president would make an effort to help deal with the national debt problem. Even the great George Washington added to the debt during his time in office. The second point I would like to talk about today is the current debt and some effects upon people. In our current society, national debt is over $28 trillion. To put this number into perspective, if the United States had to pay off all of its debt right now, each individual in the United States would have to fork out just under $87,000, which is an astonishing number. However, debt does not just affect the government. It also affects the people of this country. Governments will tax people more just in order to help shave off some debts or to make a little more money to work on the debt counts. A more relatable example for people, however, is the student loans. In a study done from 2015 to 2016, the average student debt was anywhere from $16,000 to up to $28,000. This is an enormous number and is something that an everyday citizen would not be able to pay quickly and efficiently. Debt has also affected people by destroying relationships between people. Today, I first discussed the history and origins of the debt problems in the United States. Secondly, I talked about the current debt and how it affects everyday people. These points give information from the past and present to give information on debt. Debt has affected America since her birth and even affects her in our current society. Debt places people and business in harm's way and puts them in uncomfortable positions. Businesses will either go out of business because they are in debt. As we are unable to see the problem and with our own eyes sometimes and aren't giving much information in our society, debt is still a problem that is there. Debt affects every individual and is also a possibility when we are working towards goals. People try to do their best and are able to avoid debt, but sometimes the best comes the worst, and people will be put in debt. However, the government does put in ideas and laws to help regulate debt and help the people of the United States. Source: National Debt Clock, U.S. National Debt by Year, Goodreads, Debt.org, and National Center for Education Statistics, NCES. Thank you.